Have you ever walked into an old library, perhaps one of those grand, dusty rooms where the silence feels heavy, like a thick velvet curtain draped over the world? There is a specific smell in places like that. It is the scent of drying paper, of binding glue turning brittle, of leather, and of dust that has settled for decades, maybe even centuries. It is a smell that I have always found strangely comforting. It smells like patience. It smells like memory waiting to be woken up. Tonight, I want you to imagine that we are stepping into a room just like that. But this isn't a modern library with bright lights and digital screens. No, let us drift back in time, just a little bit, to the late 19th century, to the city of London. It is a foggy afternoon, the kind where the gray mist presses against the window panes, blurring the world outside until it looks like a watercolor painting left out in the rain. We are inside the British Museum. Before we walk over to the desk where a man is working, before we lean in to see what has captured his attention so completely, I want you to just take a moment for yourself. You do not need to close your eyes yet. In fact, it is better if you just let your gaze soften. Let the room around you fade a little at the edges. Relax your jaw. We hold so much tension there without even realizing it. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Let your hands rest open, palms up or down, whatever feels natural, like leaves floating on the surface of a quiet pond. And, before we let ourselves drift completely into the flow of the past, if you find a little pocket of peace here in this story, if this quiet space helps you unwind, please gently leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It is a small thing, really, but it helps us find each other again in these historical dreams. Now, look at the man sitting at the desk. His name is George Smith. He is not a famous adventurer in a pith helmet. He is an engraver, a man used to detail, used to peering at things until his eyes burn. He is sitting hunched over, his coat slightly worn at the elbows, the collar stiff against his neck. The light in the room is dim, coming from a gas lamp that hisses softly, a steady, rhythmic sound. Hiss, 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 casting a warm, yellow pool of light onto the wooden table. And in that pool of light, resting on a piece of velvet cloth, is a fragment of jagged clay. It is broken. It is the color of dried earth, a dusty, reddish brown. It doesn't look like much. Honestly, if you saw it on the ground, you might kick it aside without a second thought. But George is staring at it as if it were a diamond. He picks up a magnifying glass. The glass is heavy, rimmed in brass. He leans in closer. He is looking at the marks pressed into the clay. These aren't letters like we know them. They are wedges, tiny, triangular indentations. Cuneiform, the oldest writing system in the world. Imagine the hand that made those marks. Thousands of years ago, a scribe in ancient Mesopotamia took a reed stylus, cut it at an angle, and pressed it into wet, soft clay. Press, lift, press, lift, over and over again. Can you imagine the patience that took? The scribe is long gone. His name is forgotten. His bones have turned to dust, but the clay remains. The clay remembers. George Smith is reading the signs. He moves his lips silently as he translates. It is slow work. It is like deciphering a code from another dimension. He brushes a speck of dust away with his thumb. He squints. And then he stops. His breath catches in his throat. You can hear the scratch of his chair leg against the floor as he shifts his weight. He reads the line again and again. He can't believe what he is seeing. The text speaks of a ship built to survive a storm that would drown the world. It speaks of a man sending out a dove to find land. It speaks of a mountain rising from the water. You see, up until this very moment, in this quiet, dusty room in London, the world believed that the story of the Great Flood belonged only to the Bible. It was Noah's story. But this piece of clay, this broken fragment, found in the ruins of Nineveh, it was older, much, much older. It was the same story, told by a different voice, thousands of years before the first page of Genesis was ever written. George Smith is holding a ghost in his hands. He is holding a memory that humanity had forgotten it possessed. I wonder what that felt like, to be the first person in 2,000 years to hear that whisper. It must have felt like the ground shifting beneath his feet, not in a scary way, but in a way that makes the world feel suddenly vast and deep. George puts the magnifying glass down. He leans back. He looks out the window at the London fog, but he isn't seeing the gas lamps or the carriages. He is seeing something else. He is seeing sand, miles and miles of golden sand. He is seeing the desert wind blowing over mounds of earth. Let us follow his gaze. Let us leave the museum. Let us float out of the window, through the mist, rising higher and higher, until the city of London is just a cluster of lights far below. We are drifting east. We are drifting back. We are crossing mountains and seas, carried by the currents of time. Below us, the landscape changes. The green fields turn to brown. The air grows warmer, drier. We are entering the land between the rivers, Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq. But we are not in the modern day anymore. We are drifting down towards the ruins, specifically towards a place called Nineveh. It is just a mound of dirt now, a hill rising from the flat plain. But underneath that dirt, underneath that dirt, lies a library, the library of Ashurbanipal. Imagine the silence of that buried library. It has been sleeping under the earth for 25 centuries. It is cool down there, dark. The clay tablets are stacked in rows, thousands of them, waiting. They are not like paper books that rot and mold. They are clay. They are of the earth. When the palace burned down, when the invaders came with their torches, the fire didn't destroy the books. It baked them. It made them harder. It made them eternal. Isn't that a strange irony? The fire, meant to destroy the city, ended up preserving its memory forever. You are standing in the ruins now. The wind is blowing softly, shifting the sand grains. Asterisk. Shh, shh. Asterisk. It sounds like a broom sweeping the floor. You can smell the dry earth. It is a clean, mineral smell. The sun is setting here, casting long, purple shadows across the excavation site. It is peaceful. There is no traffic, no phones ringing, just the wind and the history. You reach down and touch the ground. The sand is still warm from the day's heat. You run your fingers through it. Somewhere, beneath your feet, lie the rest of the fragments, the stories of kings who lived for 10,000 years, the recipes for beer, the calculations of the stars, the letters from a father to a son. It is all there, sleeping. I want you to think about the scribes who wrote these tablets. They were people just like us. They woke up in the morning, they drank water, they looked at the sky, they worried about their families, they sat in courtyards, perhaps under the shade of a date palm tree, with a lump of wet clay in their hands. The clay was cool and damp. It smelled of the riverbank. They smoothed it out into a flat rectangle, and then they began to write. They wrote because they were afraid of forgetting. They wrote because they knew that life is fragile, that memories fade like morning mist. They wanted to leave something behind, a mark, a proof that they existed. I was here, the clay says. I saw this. I remember. And now, thousands of years later, we are the ones listening. We are the ones remembering them. There is a connection there, a thin, invisible thread stretching from their hands to ours. It feels reassuring, doesn't it? To know that nothing is ever truly lost. It is just waiting to be found. It is just sleeping. The sun has dipped below the horizon now. The desert sky is a canopy of stars, more stars than you have ever seen. They are bright and hard, like diamonds scattered on black velvet. These are the same stars the Sumerians watched. They charted their movements on clay tablets, mapping the heavens with a precision that still baffles us. They saw patterns in the chaos. They found order in the night. Feel the stillness of the desert night. The air is cooling down rapidly. It feels fresh on your skin. You are safe here. You are just a traveler in time, observing, witnessing. You can feel your body getting heavier, sinking deeper into the bed or chair where you rest. The tension in your legs is melting away, flowing out into the sand. Your arms feel heavy and relaxed. Your eyelids are starting to feel a little droopy, a little heavy, like they want to close just for a moment to rest. We are going to go deeper now. We are going to leave the ruins of Nineveh and travel even further back, before the Assyrians, before the Babylonians, before the time when history was written in stone. We are going to the beginning, to the dawn, to the place where the rivers meet the sea, to the first city. Can you hear it in the distance? It is the sound of water, not the ocean, but a river, a slow, mighty, life-giving river, the Euphrates. We are drifting towards it. The sound of the water is a gentle murmur, a low vibration that soothes the mind. Asterisk, burble, flow, burble, flow, asterisk. It is the sound of time itself, flowing endlessly towards the sea. We are going to Eridu, the place where the Sumerians believed kingship first descended from heaven. It is not a ruin yet. It is alive. It is new. It is just waking up. Let the image of the library fade. Let the dust of the museum settle. Let the desert wind carry you away. We are going to a place of mud and reeds and water, a place of beginnings. Just breathe. Breathe in the dry, clean air. Breathe out the dust of the present. You are drifting. You are floating. You are traveling back to the source. The dry, dusty air of the excavation site fades away, replaced by something heavier, sweeter, and infinitely more humid. You can feel the moisture on your skin, a soft, warm dampness that smells of rich soil and green growth. We have arrived at the edge of the world as it was in the beginning. This is the Delta. This is the place where the sweet waters of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers slow down, spread out, and surrender themselves to the Persian Gulf. It is a world of water and sky, of mud and reeds, where the horizon stretches out forever, flat and unbroken. It is dawn. The sun has not yet risen, but the sky to the east is lightening, turning a pale, milky gray, then blushing into a soft, tender pink. The water of the marshes reflects the sky perfectly, so that it is hard to tell where the water ends and the heavens begin. You are floating in a small boat. It is a simple craft, made of bundles of reeds tied tightly together. It is light and buoyant. It bobs gently on the water. Asterisk, rock, 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 asterisk. The motion is soothing, like a cradle. You can hear the water lapping against the sides of the reed boat. Asterisk, lap, lap, shh, asterisk. It is a whisper. The river is whispering to you. Look around you. This is the landscape of Eridu. It does not look like a modern city. There are no paved roads, no glass towers. Instead, there is a harmony of earth and water. You see islands rising out of the marshes, and on those islands, huts made of woven reeds. They are beautiful, arched structures, looking like great baskets turned upside down. Smoke rises from their roofs in thin, straight lines, climbing up into the still morning air. It smells of burning cedar and dried dung, a homely, ancient smell. But in the center of it all, rising from the largest mound, is something else, something that speaks of a new order. It is a temple. The ziggurat. It is not the towering mountain of bricks it will become in later centuries. Right now, it is smaller, intimate, built of sun-dried mud bricks, but it is perfect. It is a stairway to the sky. It is the house of Enki, the god of fresh water, the god of wisdom, the god who loves humanity. The Sumerians believed that this place, Eridu, was the first city. They believed that before Eridu, people wandered aimlessly, like wild animals. They had no kings, no laws, no order. And then something happened. The texts say, "Kingship descended from heaven." Just think about that phrase for a moment. Asterisk. Kingship descended from heaven. Asterisk. It doesn't say kings were elected. It doesn't say a warrior conquered a village. It says it came down, like a gift, like rain, like sunlight. It implies that civilization wasn't a struggle, a clawing upward from the dirt. It implies that it was a blessing, a template given to us by something higher. Imagine the feeling of safety that belief must have brought. To believe that the walls of your city, the laws that govern your market, the rituals of your temple, they aren't just things people made up. They are part of the cosmic order. They are meant to be there. It makes the world feel solid. It makes the world feel safe. You drift closer to the shore. The reeds here are tall, towering over your head, 12 feet high or more. They rustle in the morning breeze. Asterisk. Swish. Rustle. Swish. Asterisk. It is a dry, papery sound. The reeds are full of life. You can hear the hidden birds waking up. A heron takes flight, its great wings beating the air with a slow, heavy rhythm. Asterisk. Flap. 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 Asterisk. Frogs are singing their chorus, a deep, resonant croaking that vibrates through the water. This place is teeming with life. It is the cradle of life. The boat nudges into the soft mud of the bank. You step out. The mud is cool and squishy under your bare feet. It feels grounding. This mud is special. It is the clay from which the Sumerians built everything. They built their houses from it. They made their pots from it. They wrote their history on it. And, according to their myths, the gods shaped the first humans from this very mud. You are walking on the substance of creation. You walk towards the city. The people are waking up. They move with a slow, deliberate grace. There is no rushing here. Why rush? The river flows at its own pace. The sun rises at its own pace. The people live in rhythm with the world. You see a farmer walking towards his field. He carries a hoe over his shoulder. He looks content. He knows that the river will water his crops. He knows that the gods are watching. You pass a group of scribes sitting in the courtyard of the temple. They are young boys, their heads shaved, wearing simple linen kilts. They are learning the art of writing. They hold damp pads of clay in their hands. They hold reed styluses. They are practicing their wedges. Asterisk. Press. Turn. Press. Turn. Asterisk. They are quiet, focused. There is a sense of sacred duty in their posture. They are not just writing. They are maintaining the order of the universe. They are keeping the lists. The Sumerians loved lists. I find that so endearing, honestly. They made lists of everything. Lists of birds, lists of fish, lists of professions, lists of stars. It was their way of hugging the world, by naming things, by writing them down. They felt they could understand them, protect them. It is a form of love, really. Paying attention is the highest form of love, and the scribes paid attention to everything. You walk further, towards the ziggurat. The sun has risen now, casting a golden light over the mud brick walls. The city glows. It looks like it is made of gold. You can hear the sound of chanting coming from the temple. Low, rhythmic voices singing hymns to Enki. Asterisk. Enki, Lord of the sweet waters. Enki, who knows the deep places. Asterisk. It is a soothing sound, a drone that vibrates in your chest. It feels like a heartbeat. The city has a heartbeat. In this time, in this golden age, the texts say that the kings ruled for thousands of years. Alulim, the first king, ruled for 28,800 years. Alangar ruled for 36,000 years. It sounds impossible to us, doesn't it? Our minds, trained on clocks and calendars, reject it. But try, just for tonight, to let go of your modern logic. Try to feel what that number times means. Asterisk. Imagine a life that doesn't hurry towards death. Imagine a king who is not a fleeting politician, but a permanent fixture of the landscape, like a mountain or a river. A king who has seen generations rise and fall like waves on the shore, while he remains constant. A grandfather to the whole city. There is immense comfort in that idea, a stability that we can scarcely comprehend. It means that wisdom is not lost. It means that the person guiding you has seen everything before. There are no surprises. There is only the long, slow unfolding of time. You sit down on the steps of the ziggurat. The bricks are warm from the morning sun. You look out over the city of Eridu. You see the canals, straight lines of water shimmering in the light, bringing life to the desert. You see the fields of barley, green and lush. You see the herds of sheep grazing in the distance, looking like white clouds that have fallen to earth. It is a world of perfect balance. Heaven and earth are close here. They touch. The gods are not distant, abstract concepts. They are neighbors. Enki lives right there, in the Abzu temple. You might see him walking by the river. You might hear his voice in the rustling reeds. There is no anxiety in this place, no fear of the future. The future will be just like the past, orderly, abundant, blessed. You watch a woman carrying a jar of water on her head. She walks with a straight back, balancing the heavy jar with effortless grace. She stops to talk to a neighbor. They laugh. The sound of their laughter floats up to you, light and airy. It is the sound of a happy morning. I honestly wonder sometimes if we have lost this feeling of being exactly where we are meant to be, of being held by a system that works. In Eridu, everyone had a place. The farmer, the potter, the priest, the king. You were part of a great machine, but a machine made of flesh and mud and spirit. You belonged. The air is getting warmer now. The humidity rises, creating a soft haze over the horizon. It softens the edges of the world. It makes everything look dreamlike. You feel the warmth soaking into your clothes, relaxing your muscles. You lean back against the temple wall. The clay brick is rough against your back, a solid support. You close your eyes for a moment. You can still see the green of the fields and the blue of the water. You can still hear the gentle hum of the city. It is a white noise of life. The bleating of goats, the clinking of pottery, the soft slap of water against the canal banks. Slap, slap, shh. It is a lullaby. The city is singing you a lullaby. You are safe, it says. The walls are strong. The granaries are full. The king is watching. The gods are happy. You feel a profound sense of gratitude for this vision, for this memory of a time when humanity was young and hopeful. Before the noise got too loud, before the flood came, just this moment of perfection, this dawn at Eridu. Imagine that you are one of those citizens. You have nowhere else to be. You have nothing urgent to do. You can just sit here on the steps and watch the light change on the water. You can watch the shadows of the palm trees lengthen and shorten. You can watch the clouds drift by, lazy and slow. Your breathing slows down to match the rhythm of the river. Asterisk. Inhale. Flow. Exhale. Release. Asterisk. You feel heavy. Not a burdened heaviness, but a grounded heaviness. Like a stone settled in the mud at the bottom of the river. The current flows over you, but you do not move. You are anchored. The concept of kingship descended from heaven feels real to you now. It feels like a blanket being lowered over the city. A blanket of protection, a blanket of order. It tucks the city in. It keeps the chaos out. You are safe under that blanket. The sun climbs a little higher, turning the water to liquid silver. The light is bright, but your eyes are closed, so it just appears as a warm, red glow behind your eyelids. It is a comforting color, the color of blood, of life, of the womb. You drift in this golden morning. You let the peace of Eridu seep into your bones. You let the ancient order reorganize your thoughts, tidying them up, stacking them neatly like tablets on a shelf. Everything is in its place. Everything is recorded. Everything is known. There is nothing to worry about. Rest in the shadow of the temple. Rest in the memory of the first morning. Sleep is a kind of kingship too. It descends from heaven. It rules over you with a gentle hand. Let it descend. Let it rule. Drift on the river of time. Drift. The sun rises over Eridu, and then it sets. It rises again, and sets again. Day after day, year after year, century after century, millennium after millennium. We are entering a part of the story that challenges everything we think we know about time. It is a concept that feels almost slippery when you try to hold it in a modern mind, a mind used to ticking clocks and quarterly reports. But here, in the ancient dream time of Sumer, time does not tick. It flows. It stretches. It hangs in the air like dust motes in a shaft of golden afternoon light. We are looking at the Sumerian king list again. I want you to imagine you are holding that prism of clay in your own hands. It is heavy, dense, cool to the touch. You can feel the sharp edges of the cuneiform wedges pressed into the surface. Run your thumb over the first column. The scribe who wrote this pressed his stylus into the wet earth with absolute conviction. He wasn't writing a fairy tale. He was writing a record. After the kingship descended from heaven, the kingship was in Eridu. In Eridu, Alulim became king. He ruled for 28,800 years. 28,800 years. Just let that number sink in. Don't try to analyze it. Don't try to rationalize it as lunar cycles or seasonal math. Just feel the weight of it. Imagine a single life stretching out that long. Imagine a king sitting on a throne of diorite, watching the stars slowly shift their positions in the sky, not over a lifetime, but over an epoch. To live that long, honestly, it changes the very texture of existence. In our world, there is always a rush. We rush because we know our time is short. We build quickly. We speak quickly. We love quickly because we can hear the clock ticking in the background. But in the court of Alulim, there is no ticking. There is only the long, slow exhale of eternity. I want you to walk with me into the palace of this immortal king. It is a structure of immense solidity. The walls are thick, built of mud bricks that have been baked by the sun for generations. They are cool to the touch. The air inside is still and silent. It smells of cedar wood, brought from the distant mountains of Lebanon, and of frankincense burning in braziers of bronze. You walk down a long corridor. The light here is dim, filtered through high, narrow windows. Dust motes dance in the beams of light. They drift slowly, swirling in currents of air that are barely perceptible. Everything here moves slowly. The servants move with a gliding grace, their bare feet making no sound on the polished reed mats. They carry jars of cool water and platters of dates. They do not hurry. Why would they? Their king has ruled since before their grandfathers were born, and he will rule long after their grandchildren are dust. The stability is absolute. You enter the throne room. It is a vast, shadowed space. At the far end, seated on a dais, is the king, Alulim. He does not look old, not in the way we think of old. He does not look frail. He looks weathered, like a mountain is weathered, like a standing stone is weathered. His skin looks like parchment that has been cured by the sun. His eyes are deep, dark pools that have seen too much to be surprised by anything. He sits perfectly still. He is not fidgeting. He is not checking a scroll. He is simply being. Imagine sitting in his presence. You feel a sense of calm that is so deep, it is almost heavy. It presses you down into the floor. It tells your nervous system that there is no emergency, there is no crisis. There is only the reign of the king, which has lasted forever and will last forever. In this golden age, humanity lives in a state of extended childhood. We are safe. We are provided for. The gods are close. The Apkallu, The 7 sages come up from the watery abyss, the Abzu, to teach us. Imagine sitting by the river bank as a being, half man, half fish, emerges from the water, Oannes. He does not look scary. He looks wise. He glistens in the sunlight. He sits on a rock and teaches you how to plant wheat. He teaches you how to observe the moon. He teaches you how to build a wall that will not fall down. There is no trial and error in this world. You don't have to guess. The knowledge is given. It is handed down, perfect and complete. Do it this way, the sage says, and you do it. And it works. The canals flow, the crops grow, the temple rises. It is a world without anxiety. Can you imagine that? A world where you don't have to wonder if you are doing the right thing, because the gods have already told you the right thing. You just follow the instructions. You follow the times me times the divine ordinances. Let's go back to the king, Alulim. He ruled for 28,800 years. Then Alangar ruled for 36,000 years. Then Enmenluana for 43,200 years. These reigns, they act like anchors for the human psyche. They suggest a time when the boundary between the divine and the mortal was very thin, almost non-existent. Perhaps the atmosphere was different then. I like to imagine that the air was richer, thicker. Maybe the gravity was lighter. Maybe the sun was gentler. It feels like a dream of the earth when it was young and strong, a time before the decay set in. You walk out of the palace and into the city of Eridu. It is the afternoon of the world, a permanent, golden afternoon. The shadows are long and soft. The palm trees sway gently in a breeze that smells of the marsh. People are working, but it doesn't look like toil. It looks like ritual. A potter sits at his wheel. Asterisk. Whir. Whir. Asterisk. He shapes a clay jar. He is not rushing to meet a quota. He is shaping the clay with love, smoothing the sides, adding a rim. He has all the time in the world to make this one jar perfect. A weaver sits at her loom. Asterisk. Clack. Swish. Clack. Asterisk. She is weaving a pattern of red and black wool. She is telling a story with the threads. She hums a low tune as she works. It is a song that has no beginning and no end. You walk by the canals. The water is clear and cool. Fish swim lazily in the depths. Children are playing on the banks. They are building little boats out of reeds. They launch them into the current and watch them drift away. Where does the river go? One child asks. It goes to the sea, another answers. It goes to Enki. Everything goes to Enki. Everything returns to the source. The concept of progress doesn't really exist here. We are obsessed with progress, with things getting better, faster, newer. But in the golden age, things are already perfect. Why change? Why invent something new when the old way works beautifully? This creates a feeling of immense stillness. It is like a long, sustained musical note. A drone, asterisk, asterisk. It vibrates through the city. It vibrates through the ground. It vibrates through your bones. You sit down on a bench made of woven reeds. You lean back against the warm mud brick wall of a house. The sun warms your face. You close your eyes. Behind your eyelids, you see the numbers again. 28,800, 36,000, 43,200. They are not just numbers. They are vast, open plains of time. You can wander in them. You can get lost in them. Imagine a single day in the life of Alulim. He wakes up. He pours a libation of water to the gods. He sits in judgment of a dispute over a sheep. He listens to a musician play the lyre. He watches the sun set. Now multiply that day by 10 million. The repetition becomes a form of meditation. The same sun, the same river, the same rituals. It wears a groove in the universe, a groove of peace. There is a theory, you know, that these numbers are related to the precession of the equinoxes. the slow wobble of the earth on its axis. It takes 25,920 years for the stars to complete one full cycle. The Sumerians knew this. They watched the sky with an intensity we can't match. Maybe the kings didn't live for 30,000 years physically. Maybe they times were times the eras. Maybe Alulim was the age of the bull. Maybe Alengar was the age of the twins. But tonight, let's believe the myth. Let's believe that a man could live that long. What would happen to your mind if you lived for 10,000 years? You would stop worrying about the small things. You would stop rushing. You would become like a stone or a tree. You would develop a patience that is almost mineral in nature. You would see the generations of ordinary people pass like leaves falling in autumn. You would love them, but with a detached, vast love, a love like the sky has for the earth. This is the energy of the pre-flood world. It is heavy. It is golden. It is slow. It is the energy of a deep, dreamless sleep. You feel that energy soaking into you now. The Golden Age is not just a time in history. It is a state of mind. It is the part of you that is timeless, the part of you that is not worried about tomorrow's deadline, the part of you that just times is asterisk. You are tapping into that ancient stillness. The city of Eridu is quieting down now. The sun is dipping lower. The golden light is turning to amber, then to bronze. The shadows are stretching out, connecting the buildings, connecting the people. The noise of the day, the gentle hammering, the lowing of cattle, the laughter is fading. It is being replaced by the sounds of the evening, the crickets, the frogs, the wind in the reeds. You feel a profound sense of safety. You are under the protection of the immortal kings. They have held the world together for eons, and they will hold it for eons more. Nothing can shake this foundation, or so it seems. But even in this perfection, there is a hint of something else, a subtle shift. You look at the horizon. The mist is rising from the marshes. It blurs the line between earth and sky. The population is growing, slowly but surely. More houses are being built. More fields are being plowed. More voices are joining the chorus. But for now, it is just a hum, a gentle vibration. You let yourself sink back into the feeling of the 28,000 years. Imagine you are floating on a raft on the Euphrates. The current is slow and strong. You are drifting downstream. The banks are lined with date palms, their fronds waving like fans. You are drifting through the rain of Alulim. Drifting, drifting. You are drifting through the rain of Alangar. Drifting, drifting. You are drifting through the rain of Enmenluana. Time is water. You are floating on it. There is no resistance, no rocks, no rapids, just the flow. You feel your breathing slowing down to match the current. Asterisk, in and out. Asterisk, asterisk, in and out. Asterisk. It is the breath of the epoch. The ancient world holds you. The clay tablets hold the memory. You are safe in the deep past. Rest here for a while, in the golden light, in the long shadow of the kings. Let the numbers lull you. Thousands of years. Thousands of years. Peace. Stillness. Eternity. The golden afternoon of the immortal kings stretches out, but even the longest day must eventually encounter twilight. We are moving forward in time now, drifting down the timeline of the king list. The reigns are getting slightly shorter. The cities are getting larger. We are leaving the era of absolute stillness and entering the era of expansion. Let us look at the city of Shuruppak. This is the city of the last king before the flood. It is a bustling metropolis. The simple mud brick huts have multiplied. They have grown into complex compounds, densely packed together. The spaces between the houses have become narrow, winding alleyways, shaded by high walls. Walk with me through these streets. The air is different here. It is warmer, thicker. It smells of humanity. It smells of cooking fires, thousands of them. It smells of baking bread, of roasting meat, of brewing beer. It smells of sweat and dust and animals. It is a rich, overpowering scent. And the sound, the texts call it times rigmu asterisk, the clamor, the uproar, the noise. But let's not think of it as an ugly noise. Let's think of it as the hum of life. Listen closely. You can hear the sound of commerce. In the market square, hundreds of merchants are shouting their wares. Dates, sweet dates, copper from Megan, wool, lapis lazuli. The voices overlap, creating a chaotic tapestry of sound. It is a drone of bartering, of haggling, of exchange, coins clinking, scales balancing. You can hear the sound of industry. The smiths are hammering bronze. Asterisk, clang, 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 asterisk. It is a rhythmic metallic heartbeat. The potters are slapping clay. Thwack, thwack. Asterisk, the weavers are throwing their shuttles. Asterisk, clack, clack. Asterisk, it is the sound of making, of creating. You can hear the sound of the animals. Donkeys braying as they carry heavy loads of grain. Oxen lowing as they pull the plows. Dogs barking. Sheep bleating. The city is full of beasts, living side by side with the people. And you can hear the sound of the people themselves. Not just the merchants, but the families. Babies crying, children laughing and chasing each other through the alleys. Women singing as they grind grain. Men arguing over politics or water rights. It is a cacophony. It is the sound of success. Humanity has succeeded. We have multiplied. We have filled the earth. The golden age worked too well. We are everywhere. Imagine you are standing in the center of this crowd. The energy is intense. It vibrates against your skin. It is like standing next to a beehive. Asterisk. Psst. Asterisk. A constant, low-frequency thrumming. Now, I want you to shift your perspective. We are going to leave the streets of Shuruppak. We are going to float upwards, up past the roofs, up past the smoke of the cooking fires, up past the birds circling in the sky. We are going to the Ikur, the mountain house, the temple of Enlil, the chief of the gods. Enlil lives in the high atmosphere. He is the god of the wind, the god of the storm, the god of the space between heaven and earth. He likes clarity. He likes silence. He likes order. Imagine Enlil lying in his chamber. It is a room made of clouds and lapis lazuli. It should be silent. It should be peaceful. But it isn't. The noise from below is rising. Think about how sound travels. It waves. It vibrates. The times, Rigmu times of humanity, is rising up from the earth like a physical force. It travels through the air. It penetrates the floor of heaven. To Enlil, it doesn't sound like happy families or productive workers. It sounds like insomnia. Have you ever tried to sleep when there is a party next door? Or when a mosquito is buzzing in your ear? Or when the refrigerator is humming just a little too loudly? That irritation, that physical discomfort, that feeling of, please, just make it stop. That is what Enlil feels. He tosses and turns on his bed. He covers his ears, but the noise vibrates through his very being. It is the noise of overpopulation. It is the noise of a system that is running too hot. The uproar of mankind is intolerable, he says. Sleep is no longer possible by reason of the babble. I honestly feel a strange sympathy for Enlil here. He isn't being evil, exactly. He is just tired. He is an exhausted parent. He is a neighbor with a headache. He wants the quiet back. He remembers the days of Eridu, when there were only a few humans, and they were quiet and respectful. Now, they are like a swarm of locusts. They are everywhere. They are loud. They are demanding. The gods gather in council. It is a meeting of tired, grumpy deities. They are too many, Enlil says. The earth shakes with their footsteps. The air is thick with their breath. They discuss solutions. They try the plague, Namtar. They send sickness to thin the herd. Down on earth, the noise dips for a moment. People get sick. The markets quiet down. But then, Enki, the clever one, the friend of humanity, teaches them medicine. He teaches them herbs. He teaches them hygiene. The people recover. The numbers bounce back. The noise returns, louder than before. The gods try the drought. They withhold the rain. Adad, the storm god, seals the heavens. The fields turn brown. The rivers shrink. The grinding stones fall silent because there is no grain. The noise changes. It becomes the sound of hunger, the sound of pleading. Gods, give us water! Gods, help us! It is a different kind of noise, but it is still noise. It is a noise of distress. It claws at the conscience of the gods. And again, Enki intervenes. He teaches them to dig wells. He teaches them to catch fish in the sea. Humanity survives. We are stubborn. We are resilient. We bounce back again. And the noise reaches a crescendo. It is the sound of a world that is full to the brim. Every piece of land is farmed. Every drop of water is used. The cities are crowded. The tempers are short. You can feel the tension in the air. It is like the heavy, static-filled atmosphere before a thunderstorm. The humidity is oppressive. The sky has a strange, bruised color. People are looking at the sky, wondering why the gods are angry. They don't realize that their very existence, their sheer volume, is the problem. Imagine walking through the city now. It feels claustrophobic. There are too many people in the street. You brush shoulders with strangers. The dust kicks up and chokes you. The smell is too strong. You want to find a quiet place, but there is no quiet place. The noise is everywhere. Asterisk, chatter, shout, bang, cry, asterisk. It is a wall of sound. Enlil has had enough. He summons the Anunnaki. He demands a final solution. No more half measures, he says. No more plagues. No more droughts. We need silence. Absolute silence. He proposes the flood. It is a chilling decision. It is the decision to press the reset button, to wipe the slate clean, to turn the noise off by turning the life off. But tonight, in our story, the flood has not happened yet. We are in the moment, times before asterisk. There is a strange, heavy stillness that falls over the divine council. The decision has been made. The oath has been sworn. Enlil goes back to his bed. He waits. He knows that soon the noise will stop. He anticipates the silence, like a thirsty man anticipates water. Down on earth, the people do not know. They go about their noisy lives. They argue. They trade. They build. But you are the observer. You know what is coming. And knowing gives you a different perspective on the noise. You listen to the city again, and this time, you hear something poignant in it. It is the sound of life asserting itself. It is the sound of hearts beating and lungs breathing. It is beautiful in its own chaotic way, but it is also exhausting. You step out of the crowded market. You walk towards the edge of the city. You pass the last mud brick house. You pass the last irrigation ditch. You walk out into the desert. Here, finally, the noise begins to fade. The shouting becomes a murmur. The hammering becomes a faint tapping. You walk further. The city becomes a smudge on the horizon. Here, in the open desert, there is silence. The wind blows over the sand. Asterisk. Shh, shh, asterisk. You sit down on a dune. You look back at the city of Shuruppak. It glows in the heat haze. It looks like a hive. You can understand Enlil's desire. You can understand the need for rest. The world is tired. The earth is tired of carrying so many feet. The air is tired of carrying so many words. There is a sense of inevitability in the air. The cycle must turn. The expansion must contract. The noise must become silence. You lie back on the sand. It is warm and granular. You look up at the sky. It is a pale, washed-out blue. You feel a drop of moisture on your cheek. A single raindrop. It is warm. It is heavy. Then another, and another. The sky is darkening. The clouds are gathering. Not storm clouds, but a thick, gray blanket that covers the sun. The noise of the city seems to be dampened by the incoming weather. It sounds muffled, as if heard through a thick wall. You close your eyes. You listen to the sound of the rain beginning to fall on the sand. Pant, pant, pant. It is a gentle sound, a cleansing sound. It is the beginning of the hush. The gods are preparing their bed. They are pulling the covers up. They are turning out the lights. You feel a strange sense of relief. The tension is breaking. The waiting is over. The rain is the curtain falling on the golden age. It is the curtain falling on the noise. Let the sound of the rain wash over you. It is a white noise that blocks out the clamor. It blocks out the shouting. It blocks out the worry. Patter, patter, patter. It creates a small, quiet space around you. A bubble of peace. You are not part of the noisy crowd. You are separate. You are safe. You breathe in the smell of the wet dust. Petrichor. It is the scent of the earth preparing to drink. The world is slowing down. The heartbeat of the city is slowing down. Enlil is closing his eyes. The gods are sleeping. And you can sleep too. The noise is gone. There is only the rain. Soft, steady, eternal. Drift in the gray light. Drift in the quiet. The chaos is ending. The rest is beginning. Sleep. The rain has not yet begun to fall, but the air is heavy with it. Can you feel that pressure? It is the feeling of the barometer dropping, a physical weight pressing against your temples, against your chest. The sky above the city of Shuruppak has turned a strange, sickly, yellow-gray. The birds have stopped singing. The dogs have stopped barking. Even the insects, those millions of tiny fiddlers in the grass, have fallen silent. It is the silence of holding one's breath. You are no longer in the bustling market or the open desert. You are standing outside a house. It is not a palace of mud brick like the king's. It is a humbler dwelling, though noble in its own way. It is a reed house. Have you ever seen the reed houses of the Iraqi marshes? They are architectural marvels. They are built by bundling giant reeds together, reeds as thick as your wrist, towering 12 feet high. These bundles are bent into arches, creating a ribbed vault that looks like the skeleton of a great whale or an overturned boat hull. Woven mats are laid over the ribs to form the walls and the roof. The house breathes. When the wind blows, the house sighs. Asterisk. Whoosh. Creak. Asterisk. When the air is hot, the reeds shrink and let the breeze in. When it rains, the reeds swell and seal the gaps. It is a living membrane. Inside this house lives a man, Ziusudra, or Atrahasis, or Utnapishtim. The name changes, but the man is the same. He is the wise one. He is the listener. It is night. Ziusudra is asleep, or trying to sleep. He lies on a mat of woven rushes. The air is stiflingly hot. He tosses and turns. He feels the anxiety of the world vibrating in the ground. He knows something is coming. The gods have been too quiet. The decision has been made in the High Council, and the echo of that decision is rippling down through the layers of the sky. And then the wind comes. It is not a normal wind. It does not buffet the house. It swirls around it. It caresses it. It is a wind with a presence. It is Enki, the god of wisdom, the trickster, the friend. Enki has sworn an oath. He promised Enlil he would not speak to any human. He would not warn them of the coming flood. I will not speak to a man, he swore. But Enki is clever. He honors the letter of the law, but he breaks the spirit of it. He does not speak to the man. He speaks to the house. Imagine you are Ziusudra, lying there in the dark. Suddenly, the wall beside you begins to vibrate. It is a low, resonant hum, like a cello string being bowed very slowly. Asterisk. Thrummum. Asterisk. And then, a voice. It does not come from a throat. It comes from the reeds themselves. It whispers through the gaps in the woven mats. It rustles in the dry leaves. Asterisk wall, listen to me. Reed wall, pay attention. Asterisk, kikish, kikish, eager, eager, reed wall, brick wall, brick wall. Can you hear the sibilance of those words? The sh sounds? It sounds like the wind. It sounds like the river. Ziusudra sits up. His heart is pounding. Is he dreaming? Is it a fever? Asterisk, man of Shuruppak, son of Ubaratutu. Asterisk, the wall whispers. Asterisk, tear down this house. Build a boat. Abandon possessions. Seek life. Asterisk, the voice is urgent, yet calm. It is the voice of a father giving instructions to a child before a long journey. It is specific. It is technical. Asterisk, make the length and the width equal. Roof it over like the Apsu. Take the seed of all living things. Asterisk, the instructions pour into Ziusudra's mind. He is not just hearing them, he is seeing them. He sees the blueprints glowing in the dark. He sees the shape of the vessel. It is not a ship with a prow and a stern, meant for cutting through waves. It is a cube, a box, an ark. It is meant to float. It is meant to endure. Tear down this house. Think about the sacrifice in those words. This house is his home. It is his shelter. It holds his memories, and he has to destroy it to save himself. He has to turn his shelter into his salvation. The very reeds that protected him from the sun will now protect him from the water. Ziusudra does not hesitate. He understands. Dawn breaks. The light is gray and watery. Ziusudra summons the people. He cannot tell them the truth that the gods are sending a flood to wipe them out. That would cause panic. It would cause chaos. So he tells them a half-truth. He tells them he is leaving. He tells them he is going down to the Apsu to live with his Lord Enki. And the work begins. I want you to visualize the construction. It is a frenzy of activity, but it has a rhythm. It has a beat. Asterisk, rip, tear, snap, asterisk. The walls of the reed house are dismantled. The great arches are taken down. The bundles are untied. The house is unmade. It returns to being a pile of raw materials. Then, the rebuilding. The frame is laid out. Heavy timbers, perhaps salvaged from the roof beams or brought from the river. They are laid in a square. The ribs are set up. Hammer, thud, hammer, thud. The sound of the adze shaping the wood. The sound of the saw. It echoes through the tense, humid air. The neighbors come to help. They do not know what they are building. They think it is a strange whim of the old man. But they help. They bring wood. They bring reeds. Now comes the smell. The defining scent of the ark. Bitumen, pitch, tar. In Mesopotamia, the oil bubbles up from the ground naturally. It forms black, sticky pools. They gather it. They boil it in great cauldrons. Smell it. It is acrid, sharp, chemical, yet earthy. It smells of deep, ancient forests that died millions of years ago and turned into black liquid. It is thick, hot, and viscous. Ziusudra and his men take brushes made of palm fibers. They dip them into the boiling pitch. Asterisk, slop, slosh, asterisk. They paint the inside of the boat. They paint the outside. Seal it, Enki had said. Seal it inside and out. The black tar fills every crack, every crevice between the reeds. It hardens as it cools, forming a waterproof skin. The boat becomes a black, shiny monolith. It looks like a beetle's shell. It looks impenetrable. Asterisk, slap, brush, slap, brush, asterisk. The rhythm of the painting is hypnotic, back and forth, coating the vessel, making it safe. The boat is divided into compartments, 7 decks, 9 divisions. It is a honeycomb, a labyrinth. And now, the loading. the seed of all living things. We usually imagine animals walking in 2 by 2. And yes, the tablets speak of the beasts of the field, the wild creatures of the steppe, the cattle, the sheep, the gazelles. They are led up the ramp. The smell of the ark changes. It begins to smell like a stable, like a barn. It smells of hay and fur and dung. It smells of life. But there is another cargo, a cargo that is even more precious to the Sumerians. The tablets, the knowledge. Imagine Ziusudra walking into the inner chamber of the ark. He carries a heavy wooden chest. He sets it down gently. He opens it. Inside, wrapped in linen, wrapped in straw, are the clay tablets. These are the times, the divine formulas, the astronomical charts, the medical recipes, the laws of kingship, the hymns to the gods. He picks one up. It is cool and hard. He runs his thumb over the cuneiform wedges. This tablet contains the calculation for the movement of Venus. If this is lost, his people will forget how to navigate. They will forget the calendar. He wraps it carefully in bitumen-soaked cloth to keep it dry. He places it back in the box. He picks up another. This one holds the secret of smelting bronze. If this is lost, they will go back to the Stone Age. He wraps it. He picks up another. This one is the list of kings, the memory of who they are. He is packing the mind of his civilization. He is archiving the soul of his people. This act, it touches me deeply. Imagine knowing that the world is ending and deciding that the most important thing to save is a library. It speaks to a profound love for wisdom, a belief that the future will need these words. He seals the chests. He coats the seams with pitch. He stacks them in the safest, driest compartment, deep in the center of the boat. The ark is heavy now. It sits low in the mud. It is groaning under the weight of the animals, the grain, the beer, the oil, and the memory of the world. The sky is turning black, not gray, but black. The clouds are piling up like mountains of iron. The wind is picking up. It is no longer a whisper. It is a whistle. Asterisk. Hoo. Asterisk. The birds stop flying. They land on the roof of the ark. Sensing safety, Ziusudra stands at the door of the boat. He looks out at his city. He sees the market where he bought his bread. He sees the temple where he prayed. He sees the river that fed him. He knows he will never see them again. There is a grief in this moment, but it is a quiet grief, a resolved grief. He has done what the whisper told him to do. He is ready. He calls his family inside, his wife, his sons, the craftsmen who helped him build the boat. He saves them too, because the new world will need builders. They step across the threshold. The ramp creaks, and then the door. The tablets say that Enki himself, or perhaps the sun god Shamash, sealed the door from the outside. Boom! The heavy, pitch-coated door slams shut. Total darkness. Inside the ark, the air is thick and warm. It smells of tar and animals. You can hear the breathing of the creatures. Asterisk. Huff, puff. Asterisk. You can hear the shuffle of hooves. But outside, the world has vanished. You are inside the seed. You are inside the capsule. Ziusudra lights a small oil lamp. The flame flickers, casting long, strange shadows on the curved reed walls. The ribs of the boat look like the ribs of a giant chest, protecting the heart inside. You sit down on a sack of grain. You lean back against the wall. The wall is coated in bitumen. It is sticky, but it is solid. You listen. You are waiting for the rain. The silence inside the boat is profound. It is the silence of anticipation. It is the silence of a held breath. Your own breathing slows down. Asterisk. In. Wait. Out. Wait. Asterisk. You feel the vibration of the boat. It is resting on the earth, but it feels eager. It feels buoyant. It wants to float. You think about the whisper in the wall. Asterisk. Wall. Listen to me. Asterisk. That whisper saved you. That whisper built this boat. That whisper is the reason you are breathing right now. You close your eyes. You visualize the tablets stacked in their boxes. The knowledge of the stars sleeping in the dark. The knowledge of the earth sleeping in the dark. And you sleeping in the dark. You are just another tablet, really. Another vessel for memory. The lamp burns low. The shadows merge. You feel safe. You are contained. The pitch has sealed the cracks. The water cannot get in. You are ready for the storm. Let the world outside do what it must do. You are inside. You are held. Rest in the belly of the ark. Rest in the cradle of the reeds. Wait, wait, wait. The first drop falls. It does not hit the ground. It hits the roof of the ark. Thwack. It is loud. Surprisingly loud. It sounds like a stone hitting the deck. It is a heavy, fat drop of water, burdened with the dust of the atmosphere, gathered from the four corners of the sky. Then another. Asterisk, thwack. Asterisk. And another. Asterisk, thwack. Asterisk. And then the sky opens. It is not a gradual shower. It is not a gentle ramping up of precipitation. It is a collapse. The Sumerian texts say, asterisk, the dams of the netherworld were opened. The fountains of the deep burst forth. Asterisk. It is as if the ocean has been turned upside down. The sound inside the ark changes instantly. The silence is shattered. It is replaced by a roar. Asterisk. Roa. Asterisk. It sounds like a freight train, passing inches from your ear. It sounds like a waterfall crashing onto a tin roof. It is a wall of white noise, thick, dense, and impenetrable. You are sitting in the dark, lit only by the flickering oil lamp. You look up at the ceiling. You can't see the rain, but you can feel its weight. You can feel the impact of millions of gallons of water hammering against the reed mats, testing the bitumen seal. Drum, 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 drum. It is a chaotic drumming, millions of beats per second. It is overwhelming. Your mind tries to process it, to separate the individual drops, but it can't. It blurs into a single, continuous drone. And then the movement begins. The earth beneath the ark turns to mud, then to slurry, then to liquid. You feel a lurch, asterisk, creak, groan, asterisk. The timbers of the boat complain as the stress shifts. The floor tilts. You slide slightly on your sack of grain. The animals bleat in surprise. The donkey brays, a jagged sound in the smooth roar of the rain. The boat is lifting. This is the moment of separation. The ark is breaking its bond with the earth. It is no longer a building. It is a vessel. You feel the buoyancy. It is a strange, queasy sensation in the pit of your stomach. Up, up, up. You are rising. The water is lifting you above the house foundations, above the city walls, above the palm trees. You are floating over the world that used to be. The rocking begins. Asterisk. Sway left. Sway right. Asterisk. It is erratic at first, buffeted by the turbulent currents of the floodwater rushing through the streets. You imagine the debris hitting the hull branches, baskets, bricks dissolving into mud. Asterisk. Thud. Bump. Asterisk. But then, as the water deepens, the motion smooths out. It becomes a long, rolling swell. Rise, fall, rise, fall. It is the rhythm of the new ocean. Let us focus on the sound of the rain again. I want you to really immerse yourself in it. At first, it was frightening. But now, as the hours turn into days, it becomes something else. It becomes a shield. Think about it. That wall of noise is blocking out everything else. It is blocking out the past. It is blocking out the future. There is only the rain. It creates a sensory deprivation tank. Your world has shrunk to the interior of this cube. The dimensions are 120 cubits by 120 cubits. That is your universe. The rain wipes the slate clean. It washes away the rigmu, the noise of humanity that bothered the gods. It washes away the arguments, the deadlines, the ambitions. It washes away the complex, messy web of civilization. Inside the ark, time dissolves. There is no sunrise. There is no sunset. The sky is a uniform, dark bruise. Inside, the lamp burns low, casting eternal shadows. You sleep, you wake, you eat, you sleep again. The cycle is determined by your body, not by the sun. You lie down on your sleeping mat. The floor is pitching gently. You have to surrender to the motion. If you fight it, you get sick. If you relax, if you become fluid like the water, it rocks you. You are a child in a cradle, rocked by the hand of a grieving goddess. Ishtar weeps outside. The tablets say, asterisk. The goddess cried out like a woman in childbirth. Beletili wailed, whose voice is sweet. The olden days have alas turned to clay. Asterisk. But you cannot hear her wailing. You only hear the rain. It is a deep, resonant hum. It vibrates in your chest cavity. It vibrates in your teeth. You close your eyes. The visual world is gone. You are floating in a void of sound. Imagine the water rising outside. It creeps up the sides of the ziggurat. It swallows the mud brick houses. It dissolves the clay tablets left in the libraries, unless they were baked. The unbaked clay turns back into mud. The history is erased. Only the tablets in your box are safe. Only the memory in your head is safe. You feel a profound sense of isolation. You are the last bubble of air in a drowned world. You are a seed pod, floating on the flood. This isolation is scary, yes, but it is also peaceful. There is no one to please. There is no one to impress. There is nothing to do. The only task is to exist, to breathe, to wait. The animals have settled down. They are entering a state of torpor. The cows are lying down, chewing cud in the dark. The sheep are huddled in a warm mass. They accept the new reality. They trust you. You smell the pitch again. It smells sharper now, in the damp air. It smells of tightness, of sealing. You run your hand over the wall. It is damp with condensation, but it is not leaking. The boat is strong. Ziusudra built it well. You think about the depth of the water. 10 cubits? 20? 100? You are floating over the tops of mountains. The world is a blue-black abyss. The rain continues. It does not stop. Day 1, Day 2, Day 3. By the 4th day, the sound of the rain has become part of your silence. You don't hear it anymore. It is just the texture of the air. You drift into a state of hibernation. Your heart rate slows. Your thoughts become slow and viscous, like honey. You dream of dry land. You dream of green grass. You dream of the sun, but they are distant dreams, like memories of a past life. Current reality is only water. You roll over on your mat. The straw rustles. Asterisk. Crinkle. Asterisk. The sound is loud in the small space. You feel the warmth of the person sleeping next to you, your family. You hold on to them. They are the only solid things left in the universe. You are an island of humanity. The boat yaws. It spins slowly in a current. You feel the rotation in your inner ear. Asterisk. Spin. Spin. Asterisk. It doesn't matter where you are going. There is nowhere to go. Every direction is the same. Every direction is water. So you stop trying to navigate. You stop trying to steer. You let the current take you. This surrender is the deepest relaxation of all. To give up control completely. To trust the vessel. To trust the water. The gods are silent. Enlil is silent. Enki is silent. They are watching the destruction, perhaps with regret, perhaps with awe. But inside the ark, there is life. You listen to the heartbeat of the boat. The creaking of the wood is its pulse. Asterisk. Creak, thump, creak, thump, asterisk. It is a living thing. It is carrying you through the void. You feel a heaviness in your limbs. The gravity seems stronger here. It pulls you down into the mat. It pulls you down into sleep. The rain hammers on. A billion tiny fists knocking on the door. Let us in, they say. No, the bitumen says. No, the reeds say. You are safe. Let the sound wash over you. Let it scrub your mind clean. Let it drown out the voices of anxiety. There is only the rain. There is only the dark. There is only the float. Drift, sway, sink. You are a bubble in the deep. Sleep. The rain stops. It does not taper off gently. It does not fade into a drizzle. It stops as if a great hand has been placed over the mouth of the sky. One moment, there is the roar of the deluge, the deafening white noise that has been your only companion for 7 days and 7 nights. And the next moment, silence. Absolute, ringing silence. You are sitting in the dark belly of the ark. The sudden absence of sound is physically shocking. Your ears are ringing, straining to hear the drumming on the roof. But it is gone. The heavy, rhythmic, pounding against the bitumen-sealed reeds has ceased. The vibration in the floorboards has stilled. You hold your breath. The animals hold their breath. The donkey stops braying. The sheep stop rustling. Even the cattle seem to pause in their chewing. Every living thing inside that wooden cube is listening. Is it a trick? Is it the eye of the storm? You wait. Minutes pass, maybe hours. Time is hard to measure in the dark, but the roar does not return. Instead, you hear something else. Asterisk. Drip, drip, splash, asterisk. Water dripping from the eaves. Water sliding down the sides of the boat and hitting the surface of the new ocean. It is a gentle, intimate sound. It sounds like tears. Ziusudra stands up. You can hear the rustle of his robes in the dark. He moves towards the hatch, the window he built into the roof, sealed tight with pitch. He reaches up. His hand trembles slightly. Who wouldn't tremble? He is about to look at a world that has been erased. He pushes the hatch. The seal cracks. Asterisk. Crack. K. K. Asterisk. It is a loud sound in the stillness. He pushes harder. The hatch swings open. And then, the light. It floods in. It is not the gray, watery light of the storm. It is bright, blinding, piercing white sunlight. It slices through the darkness of the ark like a sword. It hits the dust motes dancing in the air. It illuminates the frightened eyes of the goats, the piled sacks of grain, the chests of tablets. You squint, shielding your eyes. The air that rushes in is shocking. It is fresh. It is clean. It smells of ozone, of salt, of wet wood, and of vast, empty space. It washes away the stale scent of the animals and the tar. You breathe it in. Asterisk, inhale. Asterisk, it feels cold and sharp in your lungs. It tastes like a new beginning. Ziusudra climbs up the ladder and puts his head out of the hatch. You follow him, climbing up into the light. You look out. There is no horizon. There is no earth. There is only water. A flat, mirrored sheet of water stretching out in every direction, meeting the sky in a perfect, terrifying line. The water is calm now. The storm has spent its fury. The surface is like glass, reflecting the clouds, reflecting the sun. It is beautiful, in a heartbreaking way. It is a blue void. I looked at the sea, the text says. All was silence, and all of mankind had returned to clay. That phrase, asterisk, return to clay, asterisk, it haunts me. It means the cities are gone, the palaces are gone, the people gone, dissolved back into the mud from which Enki shaped them. The noise the times Rigmu times is gone. Enlil has his wish. The world is quiet. The ark is drifting alone, a tiny speck of wood on an infinite ocean. You feel a profound sense of loneliness. Are we the only ones left? Is this all there is? Ziusudra knows that he cannot steer. He has no rudder. He has no sails. He must wait for the water to tell him what to do. But he needs information. He needs to know if the land is waking up. He reaches into a cage. He brings out a bird, a dove. It is small, white, fragile. Its heart is beating fast against his palm. Asterisk. Thump, thump, thump. Asterisk. He whispers to it. He gives it a mission. Then he opens his hands. The dove takes flight. Asterisk. Flap, flap, flap. Asterisk. You watch it go. It is a white spark against the blue sky. It flies in circles, widening its arc, searching. It is looking for a tree. It is looking for a rock. It is looking for a place to rest its feet. You watch until it is just a dot. Then it disappears. You wait. The sun beats down on the roof of the ark. The tar begins to soften and smell pungent again. You sit on the deck, feeling the gentle sway of the boat. Asterisk. Rock. Rock. Hours pass. And then, a speck in the sky. It returns. The dove flutters down. Exhausted. It lands on Ziusudra's hand. It has found nothing. No rest. The water is still too high. The world is still drowning. Ziusudra takes it back inside. He feeds it. He waits. 7 days pass. 7 days of drifting under the silent sun. The water level seems the same. The anxiety builds. Will it ever recede? He tries again. This time, a swallow. A swallow flies low. It is a fast bird. A skimmer. It darts away, zigzagging over the waves. Asterisk. Zip. Zoom. Asterisk. It searches for the marshes, for the reeds, for the mud banks it loves. You wait again. The waiting is the hardest part. It is a test of faith. The swallow returns. It lands on the railing, chirping nervously. It found nothing, just water. Endless water. 7 more days. Now, Ziusudra brings out the third bird, a raven. It is black, sleek, intelligent. It looks at Ziusudra with a bead black eye. It croaks. Asterisk. Cock. Asterisk. It is a bird of the earth, a scavenger, a survivor. He releases it. The raven flies up. It circles. It sees something we cannot see. It spots something floating in the distance. Carrion? A branch? A peak? It flies away. It does not circle back. It eats. It wades. It croaks. It does not return. And that is the sign. If the raven does not come back, it means it has found a home. It means the land has emerged. Ziusudra weeps. The tablets say tears ran down the side of his nose. Tears of relief. Tears of gratitude. The long nightmare is breaking. And then you feel it. A scraping sound. Asterisk. Grind. Shudder. Asterisk. A vibration travels through the keel of the boat. It is a harsh, jarring sensation. The smooth rocking stops abruptly. The boat lists to one side. You have hit something. Not an iceberg. Not a reef. Earth. The boat has grounded. It has come to rest on the Mount of Salvation. Mount Nemush. Mount Ararat. The name changes, but the mountain is real. It is the first island in the new world. You rush to the side. You look down. Yes, there it is. Wet, dark rock rising out of the water. Mud, slime, but it is solid. It is land. The ark has become a mountaintop fortress. Ziusudra opens the great door. It falls open with a heavy times thud asterisk, becoming a ramp. The smell that hits you is intense. It is the smell of a swamp, of drying mud, of algae, of rot, but also of green life returning. It is the smell of the primal earth. The animals smell it too. They begin to make noise. The cows low. The sheep bleat. They want out. They want grass. Ziusudra leads them out. They stumble on the wet rock, their legs weak from the long confinement. They blink in the sunlight. They shake themselves. You step onto the rock. Your legs feel shaky. The ground feels strange. It doesn't move. It is hard. It is stationary. You want to kiss it. You want to lie down on the cold, wet stone and embrace it. But there is a duty to perform first. A ritual. Ziusudra gathers wood, driftwood, branches caught in the rocks. It is wet, but he manages to light it. He builds a cairn of stones, an altar. He takes a sheep. He takes an ox. He offers them to the gods. This is not just a religious act. It is a signal. He is lighting a beacon. He is sending a message smoke signal up to heaven saying, "We are here. We survived. We remember you." He burns cedar wood, cane, and myrtle. The smoke is fragrant. It rises straight up in the still air, a pillar of white smoke, and the gods smell it. The Epic of Gilgamesh has this incredible, almost humorous line, asterisk, "The gods smelled the sweet savor. The gods gathered like flies around the sacrifice." Asterisk. Think about that image. The gods, up in heaven, have been starving. They destroyed humanity, and in doing so, they destroyed their own supply of food, of wine, of worship. They have been sitting in the sky, hungry and regretful. Now, they smell the roasting meat. They smell the incense, and they come rushing down. They hover over the altar, invisible but present. Enlil arrives last. He sees the boat. He sees the smoke. He sees the living humans, and he is furious. Has any of these mortals escaped? No man was to survive the destruction. His voice is like thunder. The sky darkens again. He wants to finish the job. He wants to crush the survivors. But Enki steps forward, the calm one, the wise one. He speaks to Enlil. He doesn't apologize. He reasons. You, the counselor of the gods, how could you be so senseless as to bring on a deluge? He argues for balance. Lay upon the sinner his sin, but do not pull the cord so tight that it snaps. He tells Enlil that humanity is necessary, that the world needs workers. It needs memory. It needs the times. Rigmu times the noise, but perhaps a little quieter this time. Enlil looks at Ziusudra. He looks at the frailty of the man. He looks at the desolate world, and his anger drains away. He realizes his mistake. He walks up to Ziusudra. He touches his forehead. He touches the forehead of Ziusudra's wife. He blesses them. Hitherto, Ziusudra has been but human. Henceforth, Ziusudra and his wife shall be like unto us gods. It is the gift of immortality. But there is a catch. It is always a catch. He shall dwell in the distance. At the mouth of the rivers, they are saved, but they are removed. They become the guardians of the memory, living in a distant paradise, Dilmun, far from the struggles of the new humanity. But for you, for the rest of the survivors, for the craftsmen, the children, the animals, the gift is different. The gift is life, mortal life, finite life. You look around. The water is receding fast now. Peaks are appearing in the distance like the backs of surfacing whales. The sun is warm on your back. You see a tiny patch of green on the rock, a blade of grass pushing through the mud. It is the rebirth. The world is starting over. It is a blank slate. The cities are gone. The palaces are gone. But the seeds are here. The tools are here. The tablets are here. Ziusudra opens the chests. He takes out the clay tablets. They are dry. They are safe. He hands them to the scribes. Keep these, he says. Copy them. Teach them to your children. Do not let them forget. You watch the scribes holding the tablets. They look at the cuneiform script. It is the link to the past. It is the bridge across the abyss of the flood. You feel a profound sense of responsibility settling on your shoulders. You are the inheritors. You are the ones who have to build it all back. But for now, in this moment on the mountain, there is only peace. The storm is truly over. The covenant is made. You sit down by the fire. The smell of the cedar smoke is comforting. You eat the roasted meat. It tastes like victory. You look at the horizon. The sun is setting, turning the endless water to liquid gold. It is a promise that the sun will rise again tomorrow. You are tired. A bone-deep exhaustion that you have held at bay for weeks. Now that you are safe, now that the ground is solid beneath you, the adrenaline fades. You curl up on the rock, near the fire. It is hard, but it is earth. It is better than the swaying deck. You close your eyes. You listen to the silence of the new world. It is a pregnant silence, a silence waiting to be filled with new songs, new cities, new stories. But not tonight. Tonight, there is only the sleep of the survivor. The raven watches you from a rock. The dove coos softly. You are safe. Drift into the sleep of the reborn earth. Sleep. The fire on the peak of Mount Nemush has finally burned itself out. The last ember, which had glowed like a defiant red eye throughout the night, has turned to gray ash, crumbling into the cold stone of the altar. The smoke that carried the prayers of Ziusudra up to the hungry gods has dissipated, absorbed into the endless, crystal-clear blue of the post-diluvian sky. The mountain is silent now. The only sound is the wind, whistling softly through the jagged rocks, a sound that feels like the earth itself is breathing a sigh of relief. We are leaving the mountain now. We are leaving the ark, that great black cube of bitumen and wood, slowly rotting on the high slopes, becoming a ghost story for future generations. We are drifting forward, floating down from the highlands, following the path of the receding waters. We are moving back to the plains, back to the place between the rivers, back to the mud. Watch the landscape transform beneath us. It happens slowly, like a wound healing. The mud dries. It cracks under the relentless Mesopotamian sun, forming vast geometric patterns like the skin of a giant reptile. The rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, find their old beds again. They carve their way through the silt, turning from chaotic floods back into lifelines. The reeds grow back, tall and rustling, whispering secrets to the wind. The date palms rise from the devastation, their fronds waving like fans. And the people, the descendants of the survivors, they return. They come down from the mountains with fear in their eyes, but also with purpose. They carry the memory of the water. They carry the knowledge that the world can end. And because they know this, they are changed. They are no longer the innocent children of the Golden Age. They are the builders of the Silver Age. They are the ones who know the value of persistence. We are back in the city of Uruk. But it is not the Uruk of the beginning. It is the Uruk of the restoration. Centuries have passed. The walls are rising again, higher and thicker than before. And this time, they are not just built of sun-dried mud that melts in the rain. They are built of keyline-fired brick. Asterisk. Inspect its foundation terrace and examine the masonry. Is it not burnt brick? Did not the 7 sages lay its foundations? Asterisk. I want you to walk with me into the heart of this resurrected city. It is noon. The heat is intense, shimmering off the pavements. But we are seeking the cool, the dark, the quiet. We are seeking the times Adubba times the tablet house. The school of the scribes. Step inside. The transition is immediate. You leave the blinding white light of the street and enter a room of shadows. The walls are thick, keeping the heat at bay. The air here is cool, smelling of damp earth, river water, and the faint, metallic tang of copper styling tools. Rows of young students sit on the floor, their legs crossed. They are silent. They are focused. In front of each one sits a small, rectangular pat of wet clay. I want you to really feel that clay. Imagine you are holding it in your own hand right now. It is heavy. It is dense. It is cool and moist, like holding a piece of the riverbed itself. It yields slightly to the pressure of your thumb. It is formless, waiting to be given a voice. Watch the hands of the master scribe. He is an old man, his skin like crinkled parchment, his eyes sharp. He holds a stylus made of a reed, cut to a perfect triangular point. He is about to perform a miracle. He is about to turn thought into matter. He is about to defeat time. He presses the stylus into the clay. Asterisk. Press. Twist. Lift. Asterisk. It leaves a wedge-shaped mark, a shadow in the mud. Asterisk. Press. Twist. Lift. Asterisk. Another mark. He is writing the word for water. Asterisk. A. Asterisk. He is writing the word for mountain. Asterisk. Kur. Asterisk. He is writing the word for life. Asterisk. T. Asterisk. Why is he doing this? Why this obsession, this compulsion that drove the Sumerians to write down everything, from the grandest myths to the smallest receipts for beer and barley? I honestly believe it comes from trauma. It comes from the flood. They knew, deep in their cultural soul, that civilization is fragile. They knew that wood rots. They knew that papyrus crumbles. They knew that oral stories change with every telling. But clay, when it is baked in the fire, becomes stone. It becomes immortal. If you drop a clay tablet, it breaks, but the shards are still there. The words are still there, 5,000 years later. They chose the medium of eternity. The scribe is writing a list now, the king list. He is reaching back into the deep past, trying to build a bridge across the gap of the flood. Asterisk. After the flood had swept over, and the kingship had descended from heaven, the kingship was in Kish. Asterisk. He writes the names. Gusur, Kalasinabel, Nangi Shlishma. He is anchoring the present to the past. He is saying, we are still here. We are still the same people. The water did not wash us away. Feel the rhythm of the writing. It is a slow, methodical rhythm. Asterisk. Wedge, wedge, line, wedge, wedge, line. Asterisk. It is the heartbeat of history. It is a refusal to be forgotten. The students copy him. Hundreds of hands pressing into hundreds of pieces of clay. They are backing up the hard drive of humanity. They are making copies and copies of copies. They are burying them in the foundations of temples. They are stacking them on wooden shelves. They are filling the libraries. They are writing letters to the future, to us. Now, let us drift forward again. We are leaving the cool sanctuary of the tablet house. We are rising up into the air, watching the centuries flicker by, like the pages of a book turning in the wind. We see the empires rise, Akkad, Ur, Babylon, Assyria. We see the armies march, the clash of bronze, then the clash of iron. We see the fires, the palaces burn, the temples fall, but the clay survives. When the libraries burn, the clay tablets just get harder. The fire that destroys the building bakes the books. It preserves them. It creates a time capsule. The sand begins to blow. The desert is patient. It waits for the cities to fall, and then it covers them. The wind brings the dust. Layer by layer, year by year, the great cities of Mesopotamia disappear. Uruk, Eridu, Nineveh. They become mounds, tells, just hills in a flat landscape. The sheep graze on top of the palaces. The shepherds walk over the libraries, unaware that beneath their feet lies the history of the world. Silence falls, a long, deep silence that lasts for 2,000 years. The language of Sumer is forgotten. No one knows how to read the wedges anymore. The voices are trapped in the dark, but they are safe. They are sleeping. And now we are back where we started. We are back in the quiet room, but not the ancient room, the modern room, the British Museum, or perhaps the quiet room of your own mind. Right now, imagine you are holding one of those tablets. It has been dug up from the sand. It has been brushed clean. It is resting in your palm. It is small. Most of them fit easily in one hand. It is the size of a smartphone, oddly enough. You run your finger over the surface. You feel the ridges. You feel the indentations. You are touching the fingerprint of a scribe who lived 5,000 years ago. Can you feel the connection? It is electric. It is a spark jumping across the gap of millennia. That scribe, let's call him Enhedu. He sat in the dust, sweating in the heat, worrying about his children, worrying about the river rising. And he wrote, asterisk, I saw the flood, asterisk. And you, sitting in your room, safe and warm, you hear him. I hear you. You whisper back, I remember you. This is the legacy of clay. It is the proof that nothing is truly lost. It is the proof that we are not alone in time. We are part of a long, unbroken chain of memory. I find this thought incredibly soothing. We often worry that our lives are fleeting, that we will be forgotten. But the Sumerians teach us that if you press your truth into something solid, if you share your story, it survives. The flood came, the water covered the earth, but the story learned how to swim. Now, let us begin the final, slow descent into your own personal rest. We are going to take all this history, all this memory, and we are going to use it to build a fortress of sleep around you. We are going to turn off the lights of the library. We are going to bury the tablets again, safe in the warm, dry sand of your subconscious. Imagine you are lying on a bed of soft, warm sand in the middle of the desert night. The sand is perfectly contoured to your body. It supports you completely. It is holding you up. The sky above you is the same sky the Sumerians saw. The constellations are the same. The bowl of heaven, the great wain, they are the eternal watchers. They drift slowly across the black dome of the night. You feel the residual heat of the sand seeping into your back. It relaxes your muscles. It unties the knots in your spine. It melts the tension in your shoulders. Let us shut down the body. Just as the ancient city shuts down for the night, we will go zone by zone, turning the clay back into dust, turning the effort back into stillness. Focus on your feet. They have walked a long way tonight. They have walked through the mud of the delta. They have climbed the steps of the ziggurat. They have stood on the deck of the ark, feeling the sway of the ocean. Now, the journey is over. Imagine your feet are made of heavy, wet clay. They are sinking into the mattress. They are turning to stone. The toes relax. The arches release. The heels grow heavy. They are asleep. Focus on your legs, the calves, the knees, the thighs. These are the muscles that carried you through history. Let them go. Let the tension drain out of them, like water flowing into the sand. They are becoming roots, going deep into the earth, anchoring you. They are heavy logs of cedar, resting on the ground. They are asleep. Focus on your hips and your stomach, the center of your being. This is where we hold our anxiety, our gut feelings. Imagine the knot of worry unraveling. Imagine the water of the Abzu, the sweet, fresh water flowing through your core. It washes away the stress. It cools the fire. Your breathing shifts. It moves from your chest down to your belly. Rise and fall. Rise and fall. It is the rhythm of the tides. It is the rhythm of the river. Slow, deep, ancient. Focus on your hands, the hands that held the stylus, the hands that built the boat, the hands that hold the phone, the wheel, the tools of your modern life. Let them open. Let the fingers curl softly, naturally. There is nothing left to hold on to. The work is done. The tablet is finished. The clay is drying. Your hands are empty and heavy. They are resting on the sand, asleep. Focus on your chest, the breath, the wind of Enlil. Let it slow down. Asterisk. Inhale, peace. Exhale, history. Asterisk. Asterisk. Inhale, memory. Exhale, silence. Asterisk. Your heart beats slowly. like a drum in a distant temple, far away across the dunes. Asterisk. Thump, thump, thump. Asterisk. It is the rhythm of the universe. It is a steady, reliable beat. Focus on your face. This is where we wear our masks. The eyes that read the signs. The mouth that told the stories. Let the jaw relax. Unhinge it slightly. Let the tongue rest on the floor of the mouth, thick and soft. Smooth out the forehead. Erase the worry lines. Imagine a cool, damp cloth wiping away the dust of the day. The tiny muscles around your eyes let go. The squinting stops. You are a statue of a sleeping god, peaceful, timeless, asleep. The library is closed. The scribes have gone home. The lamps are blown out. There is only the dark, the velvet, protective dark of the buried past. You are a tablet in a jar, buried deep in the foundation of the world. You are safe. Nothing can harm you. You will last forever. The flood cannot touch you here. The noise, the times, Rigmu times cannot touch you here. The demands of the world cannot find you. You are hidden. You are a secret. You are wrapped in the silence of the clay. Drift deeper. Go back to the Absu, the deep, freshwater ocean beneath the world, the home of Enki, the place of absolute wisdom and absolute rest. Float in that water. It is cool and dark and still. It holds you up. You are weightless. You are drifting in the womb of the world. There are no more words. The cuneiform wedges fade from your mind. The names of the kings fade. Alulim, Alangar, Ziusudra. They are just whispers now. There is only the feeling of the earth, the feeling of being held. You are part of the story now. You are part of the chain. You are the dreamer who remembers. Sleep, survivor. Sleep, scribe. Sleep, child of the clay. The night is long, but the tablet is written. The message is saved. The future is secure because the past is safe. You can rest. There is nothing left to do. There is nowhere left to go. Just be. Just drift. Just sleep. Deep, dark, quiet. Good night.